Daniel Dye has been suspended by NASCAR. Legacy Motor Club will have a third car next season. And let's check out my newest power rankings for the NASCAR Cup Series. Welcome back to another episode of Talkin NASCAR. I am your host, Andrew. Got a lot of ground to cover here today in episode number 99, one away from 100 episodes of Talkin NASCAR for this show. I'm very excited to get to 100 episodes. I just want to thank you all real quick before we get everything going here that I'm very grateful to be doing this, and it is really fun to have this as a little bit of a hobby to be talking about NASCAR with those of you who are listening right now. So, got a lot of ground to cover today. Got a lot of stories to cover from even last weekend at Las Vegas. So, that's where we're going to start by talking about the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Las Vegas. Kyle Larson picked up the victory driving for Junior Motorsports in the number 88 car, part time, filling in for another driver, filling out his part time schedule and the full time lineup for that number 88 car. Fellow Cup Series driver of Chase Briscoe actually picked up the second place finish. Then Sheldon Creed, Allgaier, and Sammy Smith would be the top three of the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series regulars. It was a really race that was dominated by Justin Allgaier. He won both of the stages, but Kyle Larson ended up picking up a good amount of speed towards the end and consistently got better as the day went on. Finished seventh in stage one, then fifth in stage two, and ended up winning in the final stage, pulling out from the victory. Connor Zilich was also in the field for Junior Motorsports, driving the one car. He finished in seventh. Some other notable finishers that are up towards the top. Parker Retzlaff finished in 12th for Viking Motorsports. His very solid start to the season is continuing. Daniel Dye, driving part-time for AM Racing, finished in 15th, so another solid start for Daniel Dye. We have more on Daniel Dye in just a minute, and but besides that, some big names towards the back. Sam Mayer, I believe, wrecked out towards the end of this race. He finished 4 laps down. Taylor Gray in 37th, and then Nick Sanchez in 38th. Another tough week for both Nick Sanchez and Taylor Gray. So that's a little bit of an overview from what we had at Las Vegas last weekend in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. As we look at the standings, Justin Allgaier still out in front over Jesse Love, and then Allgaier's teammate of Carson Kvapil still in third place. Sheldon Creed in fourth. Austin Hill in fifth. Sammy Smith in sixth. Corey Day in seventh. Brandon Jones in eighth. Parker Retzlaff still in ninth. And then Raja Caruth splitting time between JRM and Jordan Anderson Racing in 10th. Sam Mayer and then Taylor Gray round out the top 12 in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series with William Sawalich just outside of the Chase field. Brendan Poole also in there in 14th. And Jed Burton, Anthony Alfredo also still in the conversation. Moving on over, we have some big stories coming out of this weekend from the Craftsman Truck Series. Daniel Dye has been suspended indefinitely by both NASCAR and the team Calling Racing, which he drives for in the Craftsman Truck Series full time this year for Ram. This is huge news after the Craftsman Truck Series heading into this weekend at Darlington. They just raced last night on Friday night at Darlington. Daniel Dye was not behind the wheel of the 10 truck. AJ Allmendinger was subbing for him, and Allmendinger, I believe, piloted that 10 truck to a top 15 finish in AJ's return to the Truck Series with Dodge and Ram. The reason for Daniel Dye's suspension was apparently that on one of the nights this week he was streaming while discussing trading cards and also was mentioning his interaction with IndyCar driver David Malukas and mocked him in a bit of a not so good way. I'll just say it that way. I'm not going to get into the specifics about this. Um, it's not just I don't think it's really appropriate for me to talk about this on this show, so I won't go into full detail about it. So if you're curious, I just imagine if you just go up online, if you go to jski.com, they have an article posted about this report that you can go read about. But to make a long story shorter, essentially Daniel Dye kind of mocked David Malukas in a way that was not entirely, a good way. It was not a good way. So NASCAR has chosen to suspend Daniel Dye, and this is not the first time that Daniel Dye has been suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. I was not aware of this, but back in 2022, when Daniel Dye was driving in the ARCA Menard series, he was suspended indefinitely after being arrested for battery. So it's safe to say that Daniel Dye does have a record for having these incidents and being suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. But I just want to talk real quick about the impact that this has on Daniel Dye, calling racing, and on Ram, the brand itself. But the one that's mostly affected is Daniel Dye himself. I mean, I just mentioned it. This is his second time being suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. And this one is, I would say, honestly, not as, bad as being suspended after being arrested for battery. I mean, at that point, he's an actual criminal or convict, or he's been convicted of that kind of thing. So that's definitely something to come back from. That's a little bit harder, but being suspended for saying something not entirely kind online is something that we've seen other drivers be able to come back from in recent years. I mean, Matt DiBenedetto is a name that comes to mind. He was suspended after making some terms, saying some things online that were not supposed to be said. Kyle Larson did a similar thing before joining Hendrick Motorsports. That's how he was sent out of Chip Ganassi Racing, the first team he drove for. Ended up being signed by Hendrick Motorsports, and now he is a NASCAR Cup Series champion. So definitely the situation and offense that Daniel Dye has done is definitely something he can come back from. It's a lot easier to come back from than something like being suspended for being arrested. But this is definitely, being with it being his second offense. I mean, it's definitely not good to put this out on your record. And in my opinion, I don't know how to feel about the suspension. I mean, personally, I feel like this was a little bit of a softer suspension in my opinion. Like, I don't know if it was truly warranted. I mean, Daniel Dye did post a public apology to David Malukas and for his actions. So, but I'm just still not sure this is truly like something that needs to be suspended over. Like, I get why NASCAR is doing it. It's just it seems like out of everything they could have suspended Daniel Dye for, like any of the offenses that could have come up, this just seems like one of the weaker ones. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, like I get why NASCAR is doing this, and I really hope this doesn't like completely derail Daniel Dye's career. I think that he's a good driver. He's nothing incredible. We've seen him now in his second full-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series campaign, putting up similar numbers with Dodge and Ram. We saw him before with GMS Racing in the 43 truck and McAnally Hilgeman in the 43 truck as well, and they were fine seasons. He's a consistent top 15 driver in my opinion. He won't blow you away at all. We saw him up in the NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series last season in his rookie year along with Christian Eckes. And that season, wasn't anything special either. He ran just as bad as expected. Calling kind of faded towards the end of the year. So Daniel Dye, he has some talent, but he's definitely not the greatest driver, not the greatest prospect in NASCAR right now. But he's definitely proven himself to say that, hey, I deserve to be in the NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. But this does not help his case at all. So I'm really hoping this is not the end for Daniel Dye. I know he was coming into this season on a little bit of hot water. Not a lot of teams and drivers and a lot of critics of NASCAR were entirely confident in him. They are kind of, getting a little bit tired of Daniel Dye. So again, I'm hoping it's not the end of him for him. So I'm hoping that he will be able to get through sensitivity training, the entire process that he needs to complete to be reinstated into NASCAR. So we'll see what the future lies for Daniel Dye, but this was huge news for himself. So I'm hoping his career is able to still continue on after this year, after this latest offense. Now, speaking for calling and Ram, I mean, for both sides, this doesn't look good at all. I mean, you're having a driver that's getting suspended indefinitely for saying something online that is not supposed to be said, and it's definitely something that is not good. So this just does not reflect entirely great on Ram and calling, but Ram and calling, in my opinion, did the right thing by acknowledging it themselves and not, defending. Like they suspended Daniel Dye as well. Like calling released a statement saying that they are suspending him indefinitely too. Ram didn't exactly put out a statement, but I imagine something from Ram was involved in that uh, statement as well. So that's got to be count for something. So calling is, addressing it as well, and it seems like they're agreeing with NASCAR, and they're not, choosing the unpopular route at this point. So this just definitely is not what Ram and Calling Racing would want in Ram's first season back in the Truck Series, having one of their anchor drivers suspended for misconduct online. So we'll see how this affects Ram and Dodge. To be honest, I don't think it will, but it's definitely something to keep in mind going forward. This is definitely something that Daniel Dye should be more weary of going forward, and something he should learn from and have to carry with him a little bit more. But something I want to mention, what the potential, repercussions of this could have for Ram and Calling. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but it's something to always keep in mind moving forward. So there you go. Daniel Dye suspended by NASCAR indefinitely for things he said online. We've seen this happen before. We'll see how Daniel Dye is able to recover from this, and hopefully he'll be back behind the wheel of a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series truck very, very soon. Moving on to a bit of other news in the NASCAR Cup Series. A couple days ago, it was announced that Alex Bowman will not be competing in the next 3 NASCAR Cup Series races as he continues to recover from vertigo. So Justin Allgaier will be back behind the wheel of the 48 car this weekend at Darlington in the next 2 races moving forward. Hopefully, Alex Bowman can return very, very soon, but unfortunately, it is becoming apparent that the chase might be out of reach already for Alex Bowman. He's missed 2 races now due to vertigo. He did not finish the race at Circuit of the Americas, so he did not earn full points there as well. So going forward, Alex Bowman, yeah, it's not looking good for him. Missing now 5 total races at the minimum. It's definitely quite a hole that Alex Bowman is going to have to dig himself out of. So we'll see what Hendrick Motorsports will decide to do. It's a possible contract year for Bowman. We'll see what sponsors have to do with it, but Alex Bowman's going to be a very interesting name moving forward throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully, we'll see Bowman behind the wheel of the car, the 48 car, hopefully sometime soon. Moving on over to the Joe Gibbs Racing versus Chris Gabehart lawsuit, we have got a ruling on the discovery phase after arguments were heard last week. It was announced by, or ruled on, excuse me, by Judge Rodriguez presiding over this case, is that JGR will be allowed to seek discovery into all of Chris Gabehart's laptops, and personal records and records with between him and Spire Motorsports, and his current work that he's going to be doing for Spire Motorsports going forward. They will not be directly going into discovery phase over Spire Motorsports and any of their personal records as a team. It will just be on the relationship and any documents between Chris Gabehart and Spire Motorsports. And as well, Judge Rodriguez ruled Chris Gabehart's party can also carry out a reciprocal discovery of Joe Gibbs Racing. So we are going to have to wait and see on what both parties are going to find and potentially what they show at trial very, very soon. There isn't a set date for the trial. That could still be many months away, but this is going to be where a lot of evidence is found for both parties. So we'll see what is presented soon down the line. But yeah, early stages of this lawsuit are underway. It's just a waiting game now. Moving on over to some silly season news, Jimmy Johnson was recently on a SiriusXM NASCAR radio broadcast and was interviewed and was asked about the potential of Legacy Motor Club expanding to a third full-time car, and Jimmy Johnson answered yes, they will have a full-time car next season. And if you do remember from last season, Legacy Motor Club and Rick Ware Racing were involved in a lawsuit over a charter sale, which was settled in Legacy Motor Club's favor, and Legacy Motor Club will acquire a charter next season from Wickware Racing following this season. So entering 2027, Legacy Motor Club will have a third full-time team next season. So we're going to have to wait and see who is going to be filling that seat next season and what the car number may be for next year. Personally, I'm hoping that Legacy Motor Club is able to persuade NY Racing to give up the number 44 car number so the team can have the 42, the 43, and the 44, kind of allow Richard Petty Motorsports used to run those car numbers back in the day. It was the 42, 43, and the 44, so I think that could be kind of fun. But if not, maybe they go with something a little bit different. Maybe Jimmy Johnson's 84 car becomes a new full-time number, but I find that kind of unlikely. But it's kind of worthwhile to throw that out there possibly. So who could some candidates be for filling that seat next season? It's been made very clear by Legacy Motor Club's Jimmy Johnson, the owner, that he is really invested in Jesse Love, and Jesse Love seems to be Jimmy's top guy going into next season to fill this seat. So there's a chance that Jesse Love could fill the seat. Jesse Love used to be a Toyota development driver, driving for Toyota in the ARCA Menard Series, won an ARCA Menard Series championship before signing with Richard Childress Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. But as we have seen now, very often, is that manufacturer loyalty is not exactly the same as it used to be in the past. So we could 100% see Jesse Love going back over to Toyota after being with Chevrolet for a couple of seasons. And Jesse Love is 100% ready to move up to the NASCAR Cup Series. He's a proven winner on super speedways. He's a very good super speedway racer, has shown really good speed on ovals everywhere else in RCR equipment, some really good equipment. He is a NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series champion. He's the defending champion of heading into this season. So Jesse Love has proven that he is ready to drive in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's looked good in his couple of NASCAR Cup Series starts. They haven't been amazing, but they haven't been bad. He's run all the laps. He's doing everything right that you would want to see out of someone like Jesse Love. So he's definitely the top guy for Legacy Motor Club going forward. Corey Heim is another name that could be out there if uh, 2311 Racing decides to continue rolling with Riley Herbst in that 35 car, but it does sound like that Riley Herbst could be on the way out soon, and Corey Heim could be in heading into the 2027 season. That's the likely scenario we're looking at for 2311 Racing and Corey Heim moving forward, but supposedly, or maybe there's a world where Corey Heim does not get that seat over at Legacy Motor Club. Maybe 2311 Racing will strike a deal to have Corey Heim race for Legacy Motor Club full time, just to get his feet wet, get a little bit of experience behind the wheel, and eventually they can bring Corey Heim back in house, or Legacy Motor Club can just straight up pry away Corey Heim, take him away from 2311 Racing, and offer him that full time Cup Series ride opportunity. And on the other side of those things, Riley Herbst could be a candidate. Riley Herbst, we know, brings a lot of sponsorship with him. That's how he got that NASCAR Cup Series ride for 2311 Racing. They needed a lot of sponsorship to help pay for that charter that the team just bought. So Riley Herbst brings a lot of sponsorship money from Monster Energy and the Terrible Herbst brand. So that's something that Riley Herbst does bring with him. So that could be an option for Legacy Motor Club moving forward. I'm also going to throw Taylor Gray into that hat as well. I really like Taylor Gray. I think Taylor Gray, he's not quite ready to jump up to the Cup Series like guys like Corey Heim or Jesse Love. But I think that, Taylor Gray's proven to be a solid, capable driver in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, doing well in Joe Gibbs Racing equipment. Would like to see a little bit more consistency out of him, but he's definitely got a good ceiling and knows how to drive a race car very, very well. He's won on short tracks a good amount of times. He's already got a win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So Taylor Gray is doing a lot of good things right. He could definitely be an outside candidate if he shows a lot of big things this season, but Taylor Gray probably does need another season in O'Reilly, but could be a guy that Legacy Motor Club looks to long term if they maybe get a stopgap gap guy from possibly 1 or 2 seasons. Someone maybe like a Kyle Busch, who's going to be a free agent this year. Could Kyle Busch return to Toyota and drive for Legacy Motor Club? That's something that we could see. Definitely a little bit more of an outside the box type of scenario if Kyle Busch were to come back to Toyota after he signed with Chevrolet, and Toyota and JGR kind of let him walk and kind of unceremoniously kind of disrespected him, in my opinion. But that's definitely not a possibility. And also Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez, he's definitely like the last guy you probably would want if you're Legacy Motor Club. We know what Daniel Suarez is. He's a proven winner in the Cup Series. He's a very well experienced driver. He's a former O'Reilly Auto Parts Series champion. And he's done good so far this year with Spire in that 7 car. But at this point in his career, we know that Suarez is kind of just a stopgap guy that will bring a little bit of funding with him, help pay for that charter most likely, but will also, get good results out of that car, get them a little bit of a notebook, after that first season, just get a little bit of development going for that team and keep the seat warm for potentially the long-term guy that Legacy Motor Club is going to turn to with that new charter. So those are just some names that I have for who could drive that number or that third car for Legacy Motor Club. Let me know down in the comments who you think is your favorite candidate for the new 2311 Racing's third car next season. But let's talk about who could be getting who's getting that charter from, who's Legacy Motor Club getting that charter from. It does sound like that Legacy Motor Club is going to be getting a charter from Rick Ware Racing after last year's lawsuit was settled. But this could create a lot more interesting charter shuffling across the sport moving forward. Because right now, Rick Ware Racing owns 2 charters. They own the charter that the number 51 car of Cody Ware is currently using, and they own the charter that the number 60 car of Ryan Preece is using right now. RK is leasing the number 51 that charter from Rick Ware Racing at this current moment. However, that lease runs out after this season, and either RFK is going to have to make a decision on whether they decide to buy a charter from another team or choose to run that car unchartered, which is more expensive than buying a charter long term. It's definitely more of a risk, and that was something that 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports were hard fighting against, getting the preliminary injunction to race in the NASCAR Cup Series as chartered teams to get a lot more money and payouts for this season and how many times they run over the course of the year. So that was something that we have seen before and something that is very valuable to the teams, being a chartered car and chartered entry, meaning guaranteed entry into every single race. That is something that's very valuable to the team. So that's going to be a decision that RFK has to decide on whether they buy a charter. And it's another decision for Rick Ware Racing. Remember, the lawsuit, kind of came about after Rick Ware Racing allegedly decided to back out of the deal. And eventually, this team was sold to TJ Pusher, former owner of Spire Motorsports. Meanwhile, Rick Ware remained on as a partner for TJ Pusher, and the name obviously stayed Rick Ware Racing. But I do believe that TJ Pusher is still the owner of Rick Ware Racing. Haven't heard much to say otherwise. So I would imagine that, TJ Pusher is still there. And there's a potential chance that TJ Pusher is maybe looking to find a way out of the sport, try to turn a profit for the team, sell the charters, earn a little bit of money for both himself and Rick Ware. And we've seen that happen a little bit before. We've seen him do it with Spire Motorsports, build the team up for the team and get some big money involved after selling his stake eventually with Dan Taurus and his group, bringing Gamebridge into the team and funding them as well. So we've seen this before from TJ Pusher as well. So they could be a candidate to maybe sell their charter A to Legacy Motor Club and B maybe sell it to RFK Racing. But if Rick Ware Racing decides, we're not going to sell our charter, even though the charters are permanent now and they're definitely going to go up in value, it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. That's another big reason why Rick Ware Racing might sell the charters, because now that the charters are permanent, it definitely is going to make the charters more valuable moving forward. So we'll definitely see about that. So moving forward, but if Rick Ware Racing does decide to not sell their charters, there is also the possibility that another team could be looking to sell their charters, like Hayek Motorsports, who, after losing Kroger, their primary sponsor, and the JTG Doherty family, the Doherty family, I believe, and Brad Daugherty. I think Brad Daugherty actually might have left the ownership group, and the JTG family, who went over to be owners of Joe Gibbs Racing, I believe. It's been a bit of a downward spiral for the team ever since. Like, they've still, been fine on ovals. They're obviously going to be good on super speedways with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but beyond that, it just hasn't been good for that team. They showed a little bit of speed last year early on in the season, but it hasn't been good beyond that at all. So with new owners for the team, they could be looking to sell, earn a little bit of money after those charters become permanent. But it's definitely not looking good for I keep wanting to say JTG Doherty Racing, Hayek Motorsports. So they're definitely a team to keep an eye out for, maybe as potential sellers moving forward. So those are the teams that really you have to keep an eye out if you're looking at where teams might be able to acquire another charter from for 2027. So a lot of charter shuffling is going to have to go through for Legacy Motor Club to, get that third charter and for RFK to potentially keep racing the number 60 car moving forward. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out moving forward as well. So that's something that has been talked about as of late. Legacy Motor Club's expansion. Charter shuffling is going to be a little bit interesting. Who's going to drive that car? A lot of questions still yet unanswered, but that's what silly season is all about. It's a little bit of a stretch to see what and how and things will turn out. So we'll have to wait and see how all the details shake out for this new expansion of Legacy Motor Club moving forward. But now it is time to move on over now to my NASCAR Cup Series power rankings. Every single week, I rank the top 10 fastest drivers and teams in the NASCAR Cup Series, in my opinion. So let's see where your favorite driver wound up after Las Vegas. Starting out here with a couple of honorable mentions. First, I got Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe showed good speed. Kind of got mired back in traffic after a speeding penalty, but still wound up finishing in 8th. It's just we got to see a little bit more consistency from Chase Briscoe before I can get him back up inside my top 10. I also got Austin Cindric. Considering where he started from, deep in the 30s, was able to work up in towards the top 15, even scored a stage point in stage 2, and then got mired back in traffic once again, could not move forward. But it's back-to-back weeks where Austin Cindric has shown decent speed, which is very encouraging for someone like Cindric. He had a winning car at Phoenix 2 weeks ago, so we'll see how he does this weekend coming up at Darlington. A little bit of a difficult track for Austin Cindric, but he's riding a little bit of momentum right now heading into Darlington, so we'll see what he can do with it. And other than that, it's Chris Buescher. Again, Buescher is just so smooth, calm, and consistent. He got another top 10 finish, and he's definitely deserving of being inside the top 10, but for this week alone, I do have to keep him outside of my top 10, but he's just right there. He's right on the cusp. As usual, Chris Buescher is so consistent. He just got to lead some more laps for me, but then he'll definitely be in the conversation for the top 10, maybe even top 5 moving forward. So moving on, though, at number 10, I got Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs had one of the better cars at Las Vegas, kind of got mired back in traffic after a pit road speeding penalty, could not move his way forward just as quickly as Denny Hamlin, but regardless, he still finished in 5th. It was another solid week for Ty Gibbs, who had a pretty solid weekend at Phoenix, finishing inside the top 5 as well. It's 3 straight top 5s for Ty Gibbs, so after a little bit of a rough start to the season, he's kind of found his stride in 3 straight races with 3 straight top 5s. So Ty Gibbs will get in at the number 10 position. At number 9, I have Joey Logano. Logano's dropping down my list a little bit. Last weekend, he was up inside the top 5, and now he's back down at number 9. He had a really good weekend at Phoenix 2 weeks ago, was probably the fastest car out on track. Not the same case this weekend at Vegas. Was just a top 15 driver all day. Still got some decent points. Was just consistently in the top 15 all day. Wasn't a great day for Logano, but definitely not one of his worst. So Logano, I have dropping down the order a little bit to number 9. But at number 8, I got Bubba Wallace. Got another top 10, did Bubba Wallace. He is just so extremely consistent. He's up in the 2nd position in the standings right now, and you might be thinking, why is it Bubba Wallace not higher up on this list? And my answer to that is that Bubba Wallace has been extremely consistent, but it hasn't been mind-blowing stuff yet from Bubba Wallace. But that being said, he's having one of the best starts to a season ever, at least from what I've seen. So 2311 Racing, off to a really hot start, but Bubba Wallace can definitely climb up the rankings very, very quickly. So I got Bubba at number 8. And at number 7, I have William Byron. He had a really good finish at Las Vegas, really good race, finished in 3rd. Was, along with his teammate of Chase Elliott, tracking down Denny Hamlin, but was just not quite enough. William Byron, though, he definitely looked very, very strong today. Looked extremely consistent, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's won at Darlington before heading into this weekend, so he's done well at Darlington. We'll see how he can do this weekend, but he's riding a little bit of wave of momentum, so we'll see how William Byron is able to keep using it, but I have him at number 7, and at number 6, I have Chase Elliott, finished runner-up to Denny Hamlin at Las Vegas last weekend. Chase Elliott's just smooth, calm, and consistent. That is exactly what Chase Elliott is. Got some good stage points at Las Vegas, both in Stage 1 and in Stage 2, but really turned it on in Stage 3. He just could not run down the number 11 driver of Denny Hamlin, but still another good weekend for Chase Elliott. Number 5, I got Ryan Blaney. Was probably one of the better Fords all day. Started up inside the top 10, kind of got mired back in the back of the field on pit strategy, but still got some good stage points overall. If he just didn't have that speeding issue, I think Ryan Blaney would have definitely been a driver up inside the top 5 for this race. So Blaney, he's shown good speed so far this season. I have him at number 5. At number 4, I got Christopher Bell climbing back up the rankings very, very quickly. Bell finished in 4th after starting on the pole. All of Joe Gibbs Racing pretty much looked really, really strong. He just definitely could not outrun the guys like Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and William Byron towards the end. Even Kyle Larson at points in this race. So Bell, he's looked good the last 2 weeks. We'll see how he does at Darlington. Another difficult track for him, but it should fit his driving style very, very well. So we'll see how Bell does riding this little wave of momentum heading into Darlington. At number 3, I have Kyle Larson as well. He finished in 7th after starting in 5th, but was up towards the front of the field all day. Finished 2nd in Stage 2 and Stage 1. He just kind of fell back on one of the restarts and could not move forward. So Larson's been one of the best drivers so far this year. He's been the best Hendrick driver so far this year. He's been the most consistent. So we'll see how that consistency was able to carry Larson heading into Darlington this weekend once again. At number 2, I have Denny Hamlin picking up his first victory at Las Vegas after starting on the front row. Got some good stage points, both in Stage 1 and Stage 2. Was up front pretty much all day. Was able to recover very, very quickly from a pit road speeding penalty. Was not able to stop him. So he looked good. Denny Hamlin looked really, really good out on track at Las Vegas. He's won at Darlington in the past. We'll see how he can do heading into this weekend as well. But at number 1 still, it is Tyler Reddick. Reddick just had a good solid day. Did not have the best car out there at Vegas. Had a little bit more of a short run car, but ended up finishing in 13th. Had a really good short run car, not a good long run car. That's what ultimately happens. You kind of fade back towards the end of the runs, and you are not able to get the best finish overall. So Reddick still has been the most consistent driver out of everyone. I think this was actually the first race he might have actually finished without a top 10, which is insane to think about. But Reddick has been extremely consistent so far to start out the year. He's still the number 1 driver in my top 10. So there you go. Those are your power rankings after Las Vegas. Quick recap. Number 1, Tyler Reddick. Number 2, Denny Hamlin. Number 3, Kyle Larson. Number 4, Christopher Bell. 5, Ryan Blaney. 6, Chase Elliott. 7, William Byron. 8, Bubba Wallace. 9, Joey Logano. 10, Ty Gibbs, with the honorable mentions being Chris Buescher, Austin Cindric, and Chase Briscoe. But with that, that's all I got for you guys today in this episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you follow the show so you never miss another episode. We're closing in on 100 episodes. It'll be the next episode I release. Darlington weekend coming up very, very soon. And in a couple of days, got some stuff to talk about from this weekend. And also, go check out the YouTube channel of Talking NASCAR with Andrew Volkman. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, really helps us out a lot. And go check out Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew as well. Just released an episode earlier on Saturday. Had a lot to talk about there. It's over an hour long, so go give it a listen. Me and Miles talked about a lot about some really good stuff. So go check it out. Link will be in the description to the YouTube channel and the Spotify page as well. But that'll do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next episode on Talkin NASCAR. I'm Andrew. See you next time.